Hey everyone, welcome into Kitchen Talk Pickleball Edition. Joining us this week are Pete and Rochelle Nassis. They just started their own paddle company called Crush. Thank you both so much for joining me today.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So, talk to me a little bit about, you literally just started this company. I know you also said that you guys were almost planning on retiring. Now you took on this whole journey. So, how did this all get started?
Let's see if we can wrap it up in a nutshell for you. So, Rochelle and I actually we had our own business, our own family business for 20 years, manufacturing and distributing to all the big box stores with different types of products. So that was really our background. And then after the pandemic, things changed significantly, just like they did, for everybody across the board. And we said, you know what? It's time for maybe a little pause, and let's just take time off and spend time with the kids, etc. In the meantime, our youngest, Joey, back in October of last year, started playing pickleball and all of a sudden came home one day from school and said, I don't want to play lacrosse anymore. I just want to play pickleball. And so with that being said, we looked at him and said, this is for old people. What are you thinking? Like, no way.
Like a lot of people say. Yeah.
Exactly. So we found ourselves on the court with Joey starting an hour a week, trickled all the way up to 20 hours a week. We fell in love with the sport. We saw a lot of opportunities out there to make a better paddle, make a better product, make a better brand in many different ways. And with that being said, the exciting part about it was that all of a sudden we were hearing, and the name Crush comes from the court. We were hearing people walk off the court or walk on the court saying, hey, let's crush this. So let's get crushed, or whatever the case may be. And I looked at Rochelle one day and I said, we're going to start a pickleball company. It's going to be called Crush. She looked at me like I had my head screwed on sideways. And that was earlier this year. And lo and behold, here we are. We launched just a few months ago. And the response has just been overwhelmingly exciting.
That's amazing. And I know you said the name Crush. People say that all the time on the court, but you guys are more than just a paddle company, right? Like you're really trying to create this whole community. And that's why I'm such a big fan of your company, is because of this community you guys are trying to create.
That's the big part for me as a mother of three boys. I want to change lives. That's really part of our journey here on Earth. We didn't include Brett Warner, who's actually a pickleball pro, who's part of Crush, and has helped us design some incredible paddles, because you have to have a good paddle. Otherwise you're not going to last. There's a lot of paddle companies out there. We have wonderful gear, fun gear that expresses who we are. But most importantly, we are here to crush life. Our story is to be inclusive, to make sure, I think that was the divider for Joey. He's a little bit small for his age, and it's always been in his conscience, it's a walk in his life. And he said, Mom, there's no divider on the court. I'm playing with people who are older, who are taller, who are younger, who are smaller. There's no divider in pickleball. And as we build this brand, we want to crush life. And we want people to crush their finances. We want people to crush their personal lives, their relationships, their fitness goals. We are going across the board. Yes, we make great paddles, but we are going to be a light in this world, intentional, very particular about who we bring on our team.
Yeah. And talk to me a little bit about this team of ambassadors that you're creating. It's not just pros, right? It's pros, it's coaches, it's maybe community leaders. Tell me a little bit about the people you are bringing on to Team Crush.
That is also very intentional, Caitlin. Great question. People ask me when we make the announcements, look at all the people they're bringing on. Who are they? What's their title? Where do they rank? What's their duper? That is not our focus. We love to be the underdog, and we want to bring on everybody that maybe someone might initially pass over. We want to love them in their growth. We don't love, like I tell Peter, when we go to do collaborations, they're like, well, you don't have enough followers yet. I'm like, well, Michael Jordan had 0 followers at one time. Everybody was no one at some point, right? We all have to have a starting point. And our mission is to crush the process together with our team members. So we have people who are coaches at very elite resorts. We have pros that have very high dupers, and we have people who spend 20 hours on the court that are looking just to increase their journey and create that sense of community. And we're a part of that. People are passionate about our brand. We interview people all over the country that don't love the paddles they're playing with. They're being paid to play with them. The people we bring on our team, most of them come and find us, and they're passionate about our brand. And that is how we're going to grow the company.
I love that. And obviously, I mean, there's a lot of paddle companies out there. Why should someone listening sees this? Why should someone try Crush?
Well, that's a great question. So, as I mentioned when we started the company, and Rochelle, had spoken about Brett. Brett was he was vital to bringing onto the team, not only because of the person he is, but obviously his expertise. And our goal was to say, you know what, we want to make the best paddle out there on the market. We want to sell it for less. We want to sell it to everybody out there that wants to make their game a little bit better. And it's a paddle that's going to last a lot longer. And so with that being said, what people really don't realize, and the combination between us with our expertise with manufacturing and Brett's expertise with, the paddle industry, is it's the manufacturing process. It's the quality of the materials that you use, where the materials are sourced from, the process of, how things are put together. The types of glue that are used, etc. So that's why you see a lot of problems out there in the industry with these paddles that start off really, really well. And then all of a sudden in a month or two, they delaminate, or they crack, or they break in half, or they have all kinds of issues. Knock on wood, we've had nothing but success so far. As a matter of fact, the only crack paddle we've had is someone that hit each other on the court. So
we haven't had any paddles fail at tournaments. We've got pros in tournaments. Not a single paddle has failed.
So we're working on really quality. So we have spent extra money on, putting the best quality paddle together, so that we can give everybody that option and the opportunity to win.
And I think that's so important. I mean, as a tennis player, right? Like I'd invest in a good paddle and then I could get it, or sorry, a good racket and get it restrung. But the thing with pickleball, it's like, you literally have to change the paddle, and that could be upwards of now $200, $300. So it's nice to see that you guys are really focusing on the affordability, because I think that's what makes pickleball so unique. You could just run out to a park and go play for free, and anyone can play, like that inclusivity that you talked about. So talk to me a little bit about the different paddles you have, and kind of for what levels each paddle would be.
Sure. So our hybrid paddle, and we kind of did a play on words. We called it the Fearless, because initially we were kind of going after the youthful market. But what happened is, as we were selling it into stores, the hybrid paddle is in stores that have been around for 15, 20 years. And they said by far it's their best paddle, selling right now under $100. Has a tremendous amount of pop. It's $89. There isn't all that paint that you see on a lot of paddles, not to discredit any other paddle companies, but if you're a serious pickleball player, you want a paddle that's efficient and works for you.
Yes.
So it's a great starter paddle, but it's not the starter material. So it's still really high-end quality product put together. 14 millimeter, has a ton of pop. It is a cold press process, but it's $89. And it's a no-brainer because people are ready to spend that. You see that happening, but they're not getting a junk paddle. And then we have the Freestyle, which I know is your favorite.
Yes, I love it. I use that paddle.
Yes, and Pete will tell you about that.
Yeah, so this one is the cream of the crop. So it is all thermoformed all the way around the edge. It is a honeycomb core. It's got an EVA vibration dampening handle. So it takes a lot of the vibration off of, every time you hit it, feels a lot more solid. And it has a unibody construction on it. So it's all one piece. And that's one of the other reasons these things don't break in half, as well as the raw carbon. And as far as the raw carbon, it's got plenty of grit. Yes, it's past all USA, pickleball, etc. And that's one of the things that people love. They said, what's great about the paddle is that it is great with your soft game, but it's also great with your power game. Yeah. And ironically, the 14 millimeter paddle that Rochelle was talking about that, we brought out for the kids, um, that's been interesting because we're finding pros that like to play with it
Yeah, and adults. Yeah. So
as well. So
we've been very blessed in the process.
Yeah, and that's been nice. I felt like that paddle when I use it, it is that perfect balance of power and control because it's like I have a lot of power, so I don't necessarily need a power paddle. But I hate when I like get up to net, at the kitchen line and there's a bunch of pop. And I feel like with your paddle, it has that like perfect balance between the two, which enables me to play. I feel like the best I've played, throughout my career playing. So
We
that's
love
awesome.
it. We love to hear that.
I
We love to hear
definitely recommend it. And I mean, I know you guys have just been kind of in this business for not too long, but just talk to me. I mean, have you already seen the paddles just in terms of quality evolve so much just since you started your own business?
Well, like I tell my kids, don't watch what other people are doing, but know that you're being watched. So, our process in crushing life and crushing this business is just to keep our nose down, work really hard, and put out great products. There will always be someone bigger, better. There's always going to be a competitor, and that's okay. It keeps the game fresh, and there's room for all of us. And that's really our other vision too, not to get too off there. But when you talk about, competing brands or other paddles that are out there, there will always be that. So you just have to go do you and do a good job of it, right? And make sure that
Yes.
you don't compromise quality. I do see that happening. I hear it a lot. We interview people from all over the country on a daily basis. We Zoom everyone that we bring on. And I would say one of the biggest complaints is they're delaminating, they're falling apart, the edge guard's coming off, they're cracking. And these are all really big brands. And because I kind of almost try to talk people out of it when they come to our brand. Well, you're using that brand. Why us? Because I love to hear the thought process of why would you switch your paddle?
Yes. And I think, I mean, for people listening, let's say that are looking for a new paddle or
Mhm.
haven't really dabbled with this, what would you recommend to someone, walking into a sporting goods or seeking a new paddle? Would you recommend that they demo one first or even just by looking and holding one? Is there some like qualities that you could look out for to make sure that you are getting a good paddle?
Well, I
Great
think that
question.
one of the uh, most important things that we do, especially when we talk with people, we're not a hard sell. We say, hey, put the paddle in your hand and play with it and see for yourself. And hey, if it doesn't work out for you, because everyone comes from different walks of life and the way the styles that they play, then that's fine. You can use a different paddle. But our goal is to put the paddle in your hand and let you play with it. So demoing it is, I think, very important. We have a store here that's locally that demos paddles.
And
Um,
we're hoping to do that in every state because people do want to demo their paddles. I get
Yes.
that.
Yeah.
correct.
I get that.
We know already that it's been pretty consistent. There's certain brands out there that people have been using that they will transition right over to ours and be much happier with ours right away. And then there's other people that have used, other, paddles, maybe like an Amazon paddle or whatever the case may be that are quite inexpensive. And they have a little hard time adjusting it to because of the quality of the paddle. But demoing it is probably one of the best things you can do.
And I know because we're newer, there aren't a lot of places to demo it, which makes it a little bit challenging. But you were at to answer your question more specifically. People are going to look, obviously, what do they like? How does it look, right? So some people like a lot of busy art. Great, then that's their preference, right? The more paint that you have on there, sometimes it takes away from the sweet spot and the raw carbon fiber and the grit. So again, preference. They're going to have pricing restraints, right? What is your price point, right? So that's why we did two completely different price points so that we reached both audiences. And then just how it feels, the length of the grip, how does that feel on your hand? It but the demo program is essential. I do love that. That's a big seller here in Arizona, and we do have other stores in other states that are doing that, but we need to have them in every state. Yeah.
And obviously, I mean, pickleball, it's the fastest growing sport right now. I feel like everyone's either playing or wanting to play.
Mhm, mhm,
And there's obviously a lot of paddle companies coming out too. So
mhm.
what do you think, what has contributed to your success so far? And, knowing you have all this competition, what like keeps you going through this?
Oh, well, Jesus Christ, our Savior, keeps us going every day. I'm not going to lie. A lot of prayer, a lot of refocusing. And I won't lie. We walked into this big court and we had a banner there. And Joey looked at me. He goes, Mom, there's a banner bigger than ours. We should remake it. And I said, Son, there will always be someone bigger than you. It's okay. That is not what we're focused on. And the more that we can exude that, I think that's more a recipe for success. Um, we've been very blessed. The team members that we're bringing on, we brought on 55, 55 team members in 10 weeks.
Wow.
Coach ambassadors, pro athletes, athletes. We have not had to go out and pursue anyone really on our own. We're in a time and age in this world where people want to feel a sense of belonging. They've lost their purpose. They've lost their drive. They get up in the morning and we talk to people, they're like, all we want to do is pickleball. Obviously you have to make money. You've got to, do other things in your life, but we have a sense of team that is unique and we're humble. We both work very hard. We've made a tremendous amount of sacrifice, and I feel like our team members understand that. I check on them when they're sick. I check on them when they're traveling. They check on us. We've been very blessed, period.
Yeah.
We
That's
also,
amazing.
Caitlin, we stay in our lane. So when we started this business, because we've been through this rodeo before, we put a vision together and we know what the end of the road looks like. And there's going to be paddle companies that are going to come and go all the time. There's going to be small ones. There might even be some big ones that come, but we know exactly what we are trying to create.
And we
For
can't tell
everyone.
you all of it right now because we have so many exciting things happening. But just
I know.
watch. Just sit back and watch.
I
Yeah.
love it. And I'm so excited for you guys. And I mean, so you made this transition recently for someone, maybe trying to get in with pickleball apparel or maybe another paddle company. I mean, for someone starting like wanting to make that transition, start their own business, what recommendations would you give to someone trying to make that pivot?
Make sure you have a lot of money, a strong marriage. You don't mind losing sleep. You know how to work hard. I mean, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. We've been working like 6, 10, 11, 12. The other day I worked 13 and a half hours. We're grinding. So this is not for the lighthearted. It's not. We've got incredible investors and a lot of prayer. We are blessed, but it's tremendous sacrifice. And so if they're
Yes.
looking to get into it, they can, I remember when we started our other company that we had 20 years ago, no one really wanted to help us. We were kind of like the lone soldiers and we always committed. I listened to Pete on the phone. It's incredible. We were always committed to helping others because no one wanted to help us. And we wanted to start off and people kind of laughed and we're like, just watch, just sit back and
Right.
watch. And that's what we're doing now.
And I feel like it's not something that you can just, yeah, like you said, you have to go into this 110% and
Oh
truly
yeah.
be passionate about it because it is a lot of time. It is a lot of sacrifice. So yeah, for anyone trying to start their own thing, just make sure you're set on it. You have a goal, you have a vision. I feel like that's very important.
Yeah, I mean, and hit us up if we can give someone some guidance or be a light to somebody else. Please do that. Take this
Yes.
and hit us up and email us. You'll have our information. We're an open book. We want to help people.
I
And
will
you
tell you,
guys, oh, sorry, keep going.
I said I wanted to tell you one of the things that was really cool, when you talk about people starting it. So my brother had given me a call a couple of weeks ago and he said, "Hey, can I talk to you for a second?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "I'm just stepping on the court." He said, "Oh, I won't bother you. I didn't realize you were going to the office." And I said, "You know what? It just clicked." I'm like, "This is fun." I'm like, "This is fun." So that's what our day is. It's, 3/4 of the day is in the office and then the rest of the day is out on the court. Which kind of ties everything together. So it's exciting. I think at the end of the day, you have to sit there and look you have to know that you're going to have to do the grind but you have to get out of bed every morning and be excited about what you're doing.
Yes, 100%. And just like in terms of building the brand, I mean, in a day where social media is so powerful, and I know you guys post all the time, which is great. How important would you say social media is to your company and starting this whole venture?
Well, I know social media is necessary, right? I call it the necessary evil. It's the highlight reel, honestly, for a lot of people. And so being very authentic and transparent as individuals ourselves, I struggle with it, but I know that it's necessary. So we hire a team to do that. We hire someone that is going to be doing our PR. We're going to be starting our own podcast, so look out for that.
Yes.
Social media is necessary. It's necessary to be out there and active, doing paid ads, being present, being at the forefront. It takes a lot of convincing. I will tell you firsthand in our previous business, you have an unhappy customer, they'll complain 20 times. You have a happy customer, you have to convince them to say something nice. So we are not getting caught up in the drama and the muck of social. We're doing it. It's necessary. We're keeping our nose to the grind, being authentic, taking care of our customers, and moving forward.
Yeah, no, that's very important. What are some of the short-term and long-term goals for Crush?
Well, short term, we're already doing it. Actually, the response has been more than overwhelming already, which has been fantastic.
Already working on
But
another paddle design, but we can't share it.
we can't share that. But we have a lot of exciting things happening in 2024. And at the end of the day, our goal is to be one of the biggest paddle companies out there. And are we going to do it? We will.
I love it. And I know we just talked, and you guys are also going to try to go to more events, go to more tournaments, kind of like have a tent out there, a little setup so people can see Crush, see how great the paddles are. So talk to me a little bit about, this marketing tool as well.
One of the best things you can do is obviously be out there in front of the
Right.
customer, right? So we have been going to several PPAs. So we're at the PPAs, we're networking, we're meeting people, we're introducing people to the brand, our paddles, our equipment, things like that.
We're just a little bit different. People go, why don't you have tents at all these places? We've done this. We did this for 20 years. We sold to every mass retailer in the country in 3 different countries. We had hundreds of employees. Like, this isn't our first, like, oh, we just decided to get up and it's just another paddle company. We are so not just another paddle company. We are so deep, foot in the roots, ready to rock and roll this. You do not have to do a tent at every big event. We're all about ROI. People come to us, well, why didn't you sign a big name? That's not where the ROI is all the time. We are out there being authentic, intentional, going to all these events, talking to people, giving away free product. It's about branding. It's about relationships. When you have people passionate about who you are and what you stand for, and you have a good product, you're done. You don't need anything else. You don't need the big tents and to be at every event. That is not what sells. We are doing this together. This is not, we're just a side note. We're in the background doing the work.
I am.
No, we are. It's our team. We can't do this without our team.
Well, and I think that's what makes you guys so unique is like just, joining Team Crush. And it's like, oh, Caitlin, I want you to meet so and so. Or, we even discussed we already have so many of the same mutual friends. And I feel like that's what's so exciting about the community you're creating. And it's only the beginning. It's just like this network of amazing people that are trying to help each other crush it in life. Like, you guys are starting a podcast. I just started mine, and it's like you're already helping me with other guests, and I'd love to do the same for you. So, I mean, it's so refreshing, especially in this day and age we live in, to have this culture that you're creating.
It's actually amazing. Because already our athletes and our ambassadors, they are, once they see a post and we communicate with them all on email, text, things like that, they are already, we don't even know about all of it, but they are already reaching out to each other and talking to each other. Hey, I'm coming to town for a tournament. Can I stay with you? Or, hey, what do you think about this? Or, hey, here's a personal thing. And they're starting to become friends across the country. That's what we want.
That's amazing. And we are going to do such a fun giveaway. So follow us both, follow Crush and
Yep.
Kitchen Talk on social media. So guys, talk to me. I mean, what are we having in this little giveaway that we're doing?
The paddle.
This is exciting.
Caitlin's face.
This is my
Caitlin's
favorite
favorite.
part, free merchandise.
A freestyle paddle.
Yes.
Okay, the cream of the crop, the freestyle paddle. We're going to throw a little wristbands that just showed up. And
The bag.
beer bag.
So guys, we are going to post all about this. You'll just have to follow our pages, like the post. We'll even, show a photo of that merchandise so you can see. But obviously, it's a paddle company, but they also have bags. They obviously also have shirts and hats. Talk to me about what you guys are wearing right now.
Well, mine says, I crush, you crush, we crush. We get inspiration from people on the court when they say, Rochelle, Pete, you should do this. You can do anything, anywhere, anytime. Can you see it?
Yes.
And you
Yeah.
can crush.
Now we can.
And you can crush it. And we just want people, we want to inspire people. We only get, this is it. We get one time on earth. We want to inspire people. We're going to do it through our brand.
So we're doing, it's not just the apparel. There's hats, there's visors. We'll get into shorts,
Nets,
things
balls.
like that. We have nets, portable nets for people who want to, throw it out in their cul-de-sac or out in the street. We've got balls. We've got other training equipment coming. We really have the whole kit and caboodle, as you say. We've put everything out there so you can be fully equipped.
That's amazing. And for someone that wants to see all this apparel, all this equipment that you're launching, what's the best way for someone to check out all your stuff?
Yeah, go to crushpickleball.com. You'll see a coupon up there if you're a first-time buyer for 10% off your full purchase. We ship free anywhere in the United States, over $100. And I would say we ship within 24 to 48 hours. Our shipping rate is timing is awesome, unless we're at an event. We are here to make people feel good, help them crush life, perform well on the court. Obviously, we're not a gimmick. We're not a gimmick paddle. Take us seriously. We are here to disrupt in a very kind, loving way.
Yes. Well, Rochelle and Pete, thank you so much for joining us, and we'll stay tuned to see who joins us in the kitchen next time.
And God bless on your podcast. You're awesome.